2023 is over, and you know what that means. It's time to look back at the Pokemon anime episodes that aired in it in order to pick out the 10 best ones. Now this year was special when compared to the previous ones that I have been around for, in that we don't just have one series to select episodes from. Instead, we have two. Aim to be a Pokemon Master, which aired from January to April, and the Pokemon Horizons, which began airing in April and is still ongoing. But it aired 34 episodes in 2023. If you count Paldean Winds as well, then 2023 had 3 series we can select top episodes from. So definitely a lot of variety. As always, this list will be based on my own personal opinion. Therefore, it's completely subjective. So I invite you to share your own favorite episodes of the year in the comments below. But without further ado, here are my picks for the best Pokemon anime episodes of 2023. Number 10. Pokemon Horizons Episode 15. Someone we can't see who saw what's it in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. Iono's first appearance in the anime, her collaboration with Needlething, aka Dot, and a citywide search for a lost and amnesiac Liko all made this a very fun and enjoyable episode throughout, especially since it allowed Dot to grow as a character, it improved her bond with Liko, and it provided Liko and Roy with a chance to interact with one of my favorite gym leaders from Paldea, setting her up to appear again in future episodes. Plus, there was the looming threat of Spinel all throughout. All these things ensured this episode's place as one of the best in the year. Number 9. Pokemon Horizons Episode 10, with Nemona and Brashius in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. The greatness of this episode is the sum of its parts. It features the first appearance of a Paldean gym leader in the anime, the first use of Terastal in the anime, a pseudo gym battle, the first in Horizons and the first in the anime in a long time, Nemona's first appearance in the anime, Roy and Fuecoco's first serious one-on-one battle, Fuecoco learning Stomping Tantrum, and the Arboliva's reveal. All these things combined made this one remarkable episode, especially since Nemona and Brashius were both so great. This episode was without a doubt amazing and one of the highlights of Horizon's first arc. Number 8. Pokemon Horizons Episode 14, Fly Watrel in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. Having a main character / protagonist catch a Pokemon is a recipe for a good episode. So it's not surprising that such episodes would make this list. Roy catching Watrel had a lot of merit. It was a callback to Ash catching the regional bird in almost every previous series. Roy had to help Watrel overcome its unusual fear of flying, which led to several fun and adorable situations, and in the end, Watrel chose to stay with Roy. It's a classic formula, but one that works and never fails to be entertaining. This episode also had more than just Roy catching Watrel, which is both good and bad. It's bad because it means that the episode was not entirely focused on Roy and Watrel, which makes an episode like this suffer. However, It's good because this episode had some other exciting things going for it. Namely, Freed battling Spinel's Pokemon, which involved terastallizing Charizard on screen for the first time, and Spinel stealing the pendant and brainwashing Liko, which led into the next 2 episodes. So this episode had plenty of good in it, which is why it finds itself here. Number 7. Pokemon Horizons Episode 21, The Lonely Athena in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. Like I said, episodes where a main character or protagonist catches a Pokemon are some of the best. So it's not surprising that another such episode made the list as well. Liko catching Athena ranks higher than Roy catching Wattrel for several reasons. First, like I discussed earlier, the Roy Wattrel episode was basically 2 episodes in one, which was both a blessing and a curse. While it made the episode more exciting overall, it also lessened the impact of Roy and Wattrel's bond. There was just not enough focus on them to make their union feel as important or meaningful as Liko and Athena's. While Wattrel and Athena both had something to overcome, which they were able to do thanks to their new trainer, Roy did not have as much character development to undergo as Liko did. Meeting and bonding with Athena made her realize what kind of trainer she wants to be. She was able to confidently assert who she wants to be. So while this episode was less exciting than 14, as far as a protagonist catching a Pokemon episode goes, it was more powerful. So I rank it higher. Number 6. Pokemon Horizons Episode 16. As long as I'm with Quaxly, I can do it in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. Speaking of a character catching a Pokemon, we get to the third and the final such episode that also made the list. Now yes, Dot catching Quaxly is by far the worst of the 3 episodes in this category, since Dot and Quaxly were basically partners already. They just made it official, so there was no bonding or building up a friendship needed. Plus, they took care of this like 2 minutes into the episode. What gives this episode an edge over the other 2 is that A. Dot grew as a character almost as much as Liko did in episode 21, if not more, since for the sake of her friend, she chose to confront Spinel on her own, something that would have been impossible for her to do before. Having Quaxly as her official partner gave her courage she did not have before. B, and perhaps most importantly, Liko, Dot, and Roy all had to face Spinel and his Pokemon together, which required not only a lot of bravery, but it also made them put everything they've learned to the test, since they were facing a powerful opponent without Freed to back them up. Throw in some gorgeous better than usual animation, Umbreon's overwhelming power, and Arboliva's surprise appearance heralded by the pendant once again activating, and you get an episode that was truly something special. Number 5. Pokemon Horizons Episodes 22 and 23. Clash Galar Mine and Burning Galarian Moltres, respectively, in Japanese. These episodes currently have no English title. I had a difficult time deciding which of the 2 Galarian Moltres episodes I wanted to feature on this list, since they both had their merits. The first one was a slow burn as Liko and the company investigated the Galar mine, hoping to find Rayquaza, only to find that something strange is indeed lurking around. But it's not Rayquaza. All the while having Amegio and company closing in. This all culminates in the ultimate reveal that Galarian Moltres is the Pokemon stalking the mines, and that it's also one of Lucius's Pokemon. Moltres then proceeded to absolutely demolish everyone. Throw in a short battle between Fried and Amegio and you get an amazing episode from start to finish. The second episode, on the other hand, threw suspense out the window and it went for non-stop action instead, with Liko and the company facing Moltres head-on in an epic battle where they had to work together, including Arboliva, to force the legendary Pokemon to back down. This all led to Liko's pendant becoming Terapagos again, this time permanently, who proceeded to summon another memory of Lucius that revealed some key details and got Moltres to join Liko. Throw in a return appearance from Kabu, and you have another superb episode. It's honestly very difficult to choose a winner here. So while it might be a cop-out and unfair, I decided to just put them together in the same spot as the Galarian Moltres saga, to save me the trouble of choosing just one and the repetition of having them both on the list in different ranks. It's undeniable that they are both among the best episodes of the year, so they definitely belong on this list. I just cannot choose one over the other. Number 4. Aim to be a Pokemon Master Episode 7. Riding on Lapras in Japanese and Ride Lapras Ride in English. Aim to be a Pokemon Master's best trick by far was nostalgia. And the best way to employ said trick was to bring back some of Ash's Pokemon that we had not seen in a while. This episode is certainly one of the best showcases of this. The return of Ash's Lapras is the main selling point, and the episode made good use of it, giving Lapras plenty to do, including mounting a daring escape from a flooded cavern with Ash in tow. We got to see how much it's grown and matured. It got to give Ash and company a ride like the good old days, and it had a heartfelt reunion and farewell with its trainer. Additionally, Heracross, Bayleaf, Kingler, and the Torterra all got to rejoin Ash's team for the first time in years, and they got to do more than some of the other Pokemon that were rotated into the party for one episode. Pair all of this with the hilarious dilemma at the center of the episode, a Wailmer stuck in the ground that then becomes a Wailord stuck in the ground, and you get an episode that was very enjoyable and entertaining, and one of the best this miniseries had to offer. Number 3. Pokemon Horizons Episode 33. The Roaring Black Rayquaza in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. This was the penultimate episode to air in the year, and it made sure that Horizons ended the year with a bang. We got the intense, albeit short showdowns between Amegio and Rayquaza, and between Terapagos, who transformed into its true form, and Rayquaza. Both equally thrilling and beautifully animated battles that were a marvel to watch. As if this wasn't enough, we also got Liko and Roy battling Diana, who, after sadly deciding to go her own way, wanted to give the two young trainers one final lesson. This was simply an amazing episode, and it stands as one of the best, not just of the year, but also of Horizons thus far. Number 2. Pokemon Horizons Episode 25. Rivals in the Dark Night in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. The final episode of Horizon's first arc had to be something special, and it was. Fried and Amedeo had another epic battle, this time getting the chance to finally fight to the end. Liko and Roy got to face Amedeo's goons, showcasing how far they've come as trainers. Sango and Onyx got their first chance to get some action, revealing their unique personalities and their strength. Captain Pikachu got to put them in their place, forcing Sango to take drastic measures. Amber confronted Diana, revealing not just their past together, but also some key information regarding Lucius and the Explorers. This episode was simply jam-packed with a ton of excitement, and amazingly, none of it felt rushed, resulting in an episode that was supremely engaging and exhilarating the whole way through. One of the best of the year and the series for sure. Honorable mentions. Pokemon Horizons Episode 20. Kabu's Battle Training in Japanese. This episode currently has no English title. Having Kabu appear in the anime for the first time, having him train Liko and Roy, and then having him battle them in a double battle where Fuecoco learned the flamethrower, all made this an awesome episode. Pokemon Paldean Winds Episode 4, Breathe Together. I wanted to include this mini-series somewhere on this list at least once, but I just couldn't place any of its shorter than normal episodes over any of the full episodes we got for the other two series. So I am putting it here in the honorable mentions, with episode 4 being my pick for the best one, due to the sheer amount of characters from the games that it featured, which made it a special episode. Finally, most episodes of aim to be a Pokemon Master. Unfortunately, while almost all of the episodes of this mini-series had a lot going for them, they were ultimately undone by their lackluster conclusions. Having Ash find a save and bond with an injured Latias that goes on to follow him for most of the rest of the series. Having, as you'll see, the seeds planted in this episode lead to an unsatisfying ending. Having Misty return and having her battle Ash over a Pokemon just like old times. Having Ash lose to her, not having Corphish evolve, and having Ash not catch Clauncher. Having Ash, with the help of some of his old Pokemon, help a stronger than normal Beartic overcome its unique problem. Having Ash not catch Beartic. Having Ash team up with Latios to save Latias in a pulse-pounding game of cat and mouse that culminates in an epic battle. Having Ash not catch Latias or Latios. Having Pidgeot return and rejoin Ash. Giving Ash such a lackluster final episode. If all these episodes had ended as they should, this list would have been dominated by aim to be a Pokemon Master. But sadly, this is not the case. It's not all bad news though for this mini-series. I do give true honorable mentions without any downsides to episode 3 for featuring the return of Brock and Silent plus a fun story centered on one of my favorite Pokemon families in Generation 8, to episode 8 for being a surprisingly touching and emotional story focused on an interesting Pokemon depicted in a never-before-seen way, and to Episode 9 for being a hilarious, over-the-top, and crazy affair featuring the cool and exciting return of most of Jesse and James's Pokemon. Additionally, this miniseries did end up dominating the list in one way. Number 1. Aim to be a Pokemon Master Episode 5. Burn the Squirtle Fire Brigade in Japanese, and a squad's worth of passion in English. Remember when I said that bringing back some of Ash's former Pokemon was by far this miniseries' best trick? Well, this episode is the best showcase of this, since it brought back none other than one of Ash's most beloved Pokemon, and an absolute classic, Squirtle. This alone would place this episode high on the list. We're talking about one of Ash's OG Pokemon. How can we not get excited? But this episode did not stop here. It went beyond this, since Charizard and Bulbasaur got to be rotated into Ash's team for this episode. So they and Pikachu got to reunite with their old friend. The Gang of Four got to be together again for the first time in over a decade. Ash's original team. Well, from the ones he still owned at this point. As a longtime fan that has been around from the start of the anime, it's impossible for me not to absolutely love this episode. Especially with the hilarious chaos Charizard, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle got up to, and the fact that they got to work together to stop a crisis alongside Ash. This episode was just magnificent, and for sure my favorite from this miniseries and the year. So there you have it. That's my list. Those are my picks for the best Pokemon anime episodes of 2023. It certainly was a crazy year, with 3 series, all with different characters and stories. While the quality of the episodes was overall lower than in previous years, especially 2022, we still got some good ones, and it was a ton of fun selecting the best of the best. Again, I want to hear from you. Please let me know your own favorites in the comments down below. Finally, Happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so very much for all your support in 2023, and I hope I can continue to count on you in 2024. May this be an amazing year for all of us. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this one right away. Additionally, down in the description I have affiliate links for GameStop, which is where I buy all my gaming related stuff, affiliate links for Amazon, which is where I buy all my stuff that is not gaming related or groceries, and a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page. These links will all allow you to support me directly if you would like to. I would very much appreciate it. Also, I have a link to my second channel where I cover Resident Evil. If this is something that would interest you, then please check said channel out. Thank you so very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.